Hey guys, Strong Style Studios back again. It's Alex.
And it's me, Noah.
And we're here to review Chikara's newest iPPV, Aniversario, Never Compromise. This show was on the air this past Sunday, and definitely the weakest Chikara iPPV thus far they've done. They've only done 4, but yeah, this one's definitely sticks out in my mind as like one that did not deliver to expectations of what I expect from Chikara.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like it started off a little bit slow, but then it picked up and it was very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
But the end of the show was really disappointing and left a pretty bad taste in my mouth.
I agree. It left a bad taste in our mouth. Let's start the show with the first match, which was first of all, there was the free pre-show, which was Touchdown versus Saturnine for the Young Lions Cup. We neither of us watched that match, but I heard it was just okay. So, anyway, the first match was the Colony Xtreme Force taking on the Spectral Envoy in a opening match trios. Just a okay match, really did nothing for me. Colony Xtreme Force getting the heat on the Spectral Envoy was okay. They're showing improvement. It's definitely like students of the Wrestle Factory. But then like Mantis and how the Spectral Envoy took back over and then just finished right then and there. Like nothing really else happened.
Yeah, I agree. Colony Xtreme Force was just... They were pretty sloppy.
Yeah, they were definitely sloppy.
And when they were getting the heat segment, I didn't believe it. I didn't really buy it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was times, I remember when the smallest member was like holding Mantis by the trunks. I'm like, he's not going to actually hold him like that. So that was something. I just felt like Spectral Envoy really outclassed their opponents in this match by quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And I felt like it was a waste of the Envoy on,
I agree.
On iPPV.
Like the Envoy, in my opinion, like this year have like really not done anything substantial. Like they've never really I know Mantis was hurt most of the year, and like he only came back at WrestleMania, so he had like a few shows to be. But like the Envoy in general, like just really they did nothing this year. It seems like.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is kind of disappointing, especially because they're the 2012 King of Trios. Like that should be a big deal. But what you end up giving this match?
To me, this was it was kind of hard to rate this match, but I went with 2 1/4.
I went with 2 1/4 as well. You know, just.
And I do want to stop here because this is our first Chikara.
Oh, it is. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that
show that we're reviewing, and I just want to say that Chikara is probably the hardest of any promotion to rate.
It is.
From matches to the overall show because it's so storyline heavy, and there's a lot of goofy stuff involved, and it's a lot of fun, so it is hard to rate, so take that with a grain of salt.
I agree. Okay, good point. Alright, next up we had Delirious taking on Dasher Hatfield in a rematch from the season premiere from this year, which that match ended in a quick roll in less than a minute, so this match actually got quite a bit more time. Actually, I think it went too long. Action was good though. Delirious can still wrestle pretty well, but I think it was a pretty basic match. It picked up a little bit near the end, but really was just kind of a nothing really special match. Just, it was just there.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. This, to me, felt like the match they should have had at that original show.
Yeah.
I was really frustrated because I'm a big fan of Delirious, especially in Chikara.
Oh yeah, he's great.
So I was really upset when he got that roll of loss. I felt cheated out of a match, really. So this is the match they should have had. It wasn't anything blow away. It was definitely not iPPV worthy.
No.
But it was solid.
Yeah. Kind of wish that they had been building up Delirious to make a chance for the Grand Championship. That'd have been cool. Him versus Kingston would have been a nice match. But Delirious is good. Dasher Hatfield's a good worker. But just too long. Way too long, I think.
Yeah, it definitely.
And it dragged quite a bit. I give this one 2 1/2. It was fun for what it was there, and I enjoyed it for the most part.
I also gave it 2 1/2. Solid.
Okay. And then we had the show actually pick up quite a bit in a big way. We had the Devastation Corporation, which they apparently introduced a new member at the Tag World Tag Grand Prix, yeah, whatever. So it was something mixed rock something went around. I don't know what the name was. They all got weird names, but they're taking on the Colony, Green Ant, Fire Ant, and Assailant. And this match was way above expectations. They over-delivered, I think.
Definitely. This was going in. I felt like this was going to be another waste of a team, which that being the Colony. I have never seen anything from the Devastation Corporation to make me believe that they would have a blow-away match. But man, this had some crazy spots,
Yeah.
some great innovative stuff, lots of fun.
Oh yeah, I think everyone played their part very well. The Devastation Corporation did a nice job of getting the heat on him and doing like big power moves, and then taking some crazy bumps on the outside, like just catching these guys doing crazy dives, and that was really cool. The craziest probably was, well, first firing like bench pressed off the stage. That was
Yes, that was cool.
Green Ant doing his famous stage dive from the ceiling again, like
Yep, off the balcony.
that was awesome. And even Assailant got a nice little like dive to the outside, which he's a big guy to
Yeah,
catch.
he's a big dude. But my favorite spot in this whole match was the head scissors into the tornado DDT.
That was pretty awesome.
by Fire Ant.
That was awesome.
You got to see it to understand it.
Yeah,
It was great.
it was really cool.
What'd you give this?
I went 3.5. This was a really fun match. Probably one of my favorite matches of Chikara this year so far. I mean, these guys were, I would love to see this. This could be good enough for a King of Trios tournament.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I agree.
I'd have to go also with a 3.5, a high 3.5. This is a lot of fun. Not much bad to say about this match. This is probably as good as you're going to get out.
Also love the finishing sequence.
Yes.
Yeah, great finishing sequence. All right, what do we have next?
Next we had Amasis versus Ophidian in a Sarcophagus match.
The first ever Sarcophagus match, as Leonard F. Carson so famously pointed out. This is probably the most difficult match to rate because now I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and online complaining about this match, about like how the pace would work. Let's start with the negatives, I guess, of this match first. First and foremost, the Sarcophagus stipulation killed this match for me in a lot of ways. One, the stage was badly lit for where the Sarcophagus was, so you could barely see what they were doing up there.
That hurt, definitely.
Yeah. It was so far away from the ring, too, so they had to like drag each other up on the stage. They went over 30 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, it was way too long. This was the longest match on the card, and it was before intermission. It went way too long. That being said, everything else, the in-ring action, the story of the match, everything was awesome. These two guys, even like the opening exchange was great, and like they just did so many like cool offensive maneuvers, the Egyptian Destroyer on the stage, just everything about this match was I loved Ophidian like selling his knee like crazy, which he probably actually did hurt him a bad knee, because like that's what I heard going in, like he had hurt his knee, like so.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I think that was one of the reasons why he didn't have a match earlier in the year.
Yeah, that's what exactly why. But like everything about this match, I love the in-ring action and the story, but the stipulation and the time really kind of killed it.
I think that for me, part of the problem was that, like you said, the stipulation. I liked the idea of the stipulation. I like it as the feud ender for these guys. It makes perfect sense given their gimmicks. But I felt like the feud kind of ended too soon. But given what happens later, it makes sense. Yes, it was long, but I felt like what made it feel longer was that the crowd died.
Oh yeah, they
at the end of the previous match. Like they were red hot for the first 3 matches, and then I think they burned themselves out a little bit.
I think so.
And the pacing didn't help. Like you said.
Like they had some really good spurts, and like the crowd would get into it, and then just kind of like they die down.
I think it really hurt, like because they'd have like these cool spots, and like they'd move up to the sarcophagus on the stage, and then they'd slowly get back in the ring, and so the crowd would be like, okay, now this match is going to keep going, so they just settle back down, and that hurt it.
Yeah, I agree. They did have some cool spots though, like the hypnosis spot, which you were a big fan of.
I thought that was awesome.
That was really funny
because it's something that these guys, as a team, used, and so when he did it to when Ophidian did it to Amasis, it was really It was storytelling.
Nice little callback.
Throwback,
what do you think of the whole like the ending with Ophidian? This is obviously spoiler, but like Ophidian being unmasked and like revealing that he was wearing an Amasis mask underneath. Like, what do you think that whole thing was?
Yeah, that was confusing. I wasn't really sure.
Yeah,
like I understood the unmasking and Amasis winning. I just didn't understand why he was wearing an Amasis mask.
I think the idea is supposed to be like he's gone insane and like he's being obsessed and driven by this Amasis thing. But like I don't know, that whole thing was like, but like everything else, like I loved it. Like kept yelling at him like, why won't you stay dead? Die and everything. That was kind of cool. But what'd you rate this match?
This match I gave. I gave this another 3.5.
I went 3.5 as well. If only that stipulation hadn't have been involved, I might have gone 4 just for the in-ring action. I mean, but like, it was so great. That in-ring action was awesome. I really enjoyed it. It's just that stipulation and how long they went, it really, really killed it for me.
And like you mentioned, the lighting, which was a problem the whole night.
Yeah,
there really was only one. It was like a spotlight in the middle of the ring. You couldn't see you could barely see the apron, so you couldn't see the crowd at all, which I thought hurt it. And that is a beautiful building.
It is a really nice building.
It's a really cool building.
Yeah.
And
the crowd was hot though for the most of the show.
Red hot. So. It was just disappointing that they didn't have that better.
All right, so we came back from intermission and we had the match that a lot of people were not looking forward to, which actually turned out pretty good, which is a hair versus hair match between Tim Donst and Gavin Loudspeaker, which is the Chikara announcer. This actually just ended up being more of a segment, if anything else.
Yeah.
But that being said, it was a good segment.
I enjoyed it. This was way better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And Gavin looks pretty solid for what they needed.
No kidding. You know, like he did a nice hurricanrana, he did a nice like abdominal stretch, I guess it was.
Octopus stretch,
yeah, and then did a superplex and also him selling it like death was like every move like death was great.
Yeah, and believable.
Yeah,
I like that too.
But for God's sakes, do not let him wear no shirt. And, again, like he looks skinny as hell.
He's tiny.
Yeah, he's a tiny dude. But yeah, the real story of this match was the whole situation with Jakob Hammermeyer finally turning on Tim Donst and everything. That was great, and the crowd exploded for that.
Yes, I thought that was really cool how they did that. I really, as a story and a segment, I really enjoyed this. Honestly, I wasn't even going to pay attention to this match. I thought this is a bathroom break, but I sat there and watched it, and I really did enjoy it. And I loved at the end, after Donst took the loss, how he just took the razor or the clippers and just, I thought that was really cool. Like he was just, I've done this before. I don't know. There was something about that just it felt like it's this loner character that he's just separating himself so much.
Mm-hmm. It is gonna be curious to see what they do with him when they come back, and I am interested in what they're gonna do with this character because I think Tim Donst ever since I think ever since this year he's really lost his ways as far as being booked well in storyline character and his character and everything just really kind of seem off this year.
I think this. Well, I would have liked to think that this would be a direction for him, but it's hard to say.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. All right. Did you have a rating for this at all?
I don't know. This was really hard. It's hard to rate this.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, it was more of a segment.
Okay.
Somewhere in the 2.
I'd say a 2, and but it's but it's mainly just for the segment, and it was really well done. All right, next up we had a 2 out of 3 falls match for the Campeonatos de Parejas between the current champions 3.0 defending against the Pieces of Hate, Jigsaw and the Shard, one of my favorite teams this year so far. These two guys have been on a roll this year, and this match continued to show just how good they are. Do you want to talk about this first?
I really, really enjoyed this match. At first, I wasn't sure if I was going to because the first fall came really quick.
Yeah.
Within the first 5 minutes, I think. And so I was like, oh, great, here we go. This is going to be one of those short 2 out of 3 falls match. But I enjoyed the action throughout this match. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I got big ups to Shane Matthews and Scott Parker for their selling. I mean, they were really, really well done in selling. Especially Shane Matthews with the ankle. He really sold that well.
Yeah.
The tag team maneuvers in this match were great too. I mean, these two teams had pretty nice chemistry, I thought.
Definitely, I agree. This is one of the one of 3.0's higher end matches. I think they're usually in the 3 zone, but
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this was definitely one match I think stuck out as one of their better matches they've had. Yeah. But I love the finishing too. The finish was great, and I actually like the fact they didn't have Shane Matthews tap out because he's always prided himself on being a guy who never gives up and everything. Right. I like the idea of more of him being knocked out and that how it ends. That I think just is nice little storyline that and little booking thing that really made the match a little bit better in my opinion.
Yes, I agree.
All right. But anyway, Pieces of Hate win and become the new champions. What'd you rate this match?
I gave this 3 3/4. Thought it was a lot of fun. Very good match, and I'm glad to see Shard and Jigsaw with the belts.
Me too. And I gave it the same rating. We're on sync.
This is strange.
This is awkward. Yeah. All right. And then we had the main event, which was the Grand Championship match between Eddie Kingston and Icarus. We had a babyface Icarus and a heel Kingston. Some things are weird, but they somehow work. And this match really actually worked.
Exactly. Going in, I thought that this was going to be weird, awkward, hard for these two to work that dynamic. But Icarus, honestly, he had a great main event match. Honestly, I didn't think he was a main eventer.
No,
but this
he
match,
didn't.
it was very fun to watch from till.
Yeah, I will say right now, the crowd loved him. I was shocked. Like, Icarus was one of the most over heels in Chikara, and like I was worried like them trying to book him as a face would not work, but it worked, and they were loving Icarus, and they were way behind him and against Eddie. Well, they're pretty mixed on Eddie Kingston, but they're mostly negative.
Yeah.
And by the way, I love Eddie Kingston as a heel. He's a great heel.
He's a much better heel. Yeah.
And thank God we had an Eddie Kingston title defense that didn't involve Eddie Kingston selling his knee the whole match.
I know. That's one thing.
That's one thing I
did enjoy about this match.
But like, yeah, I love the match. I thought they had some nice back and forth. It really, really picked up near the end, and then the finish, or should we say lack thereof?
Yeah, there was no finish.
Yeah. Basically, the whole thing was security, the Condor security, I believe they're called, or whatever. It's like it's a whole long Chikara thing. I'm not going to go into it. They came out, break up the match, basically take everyone out of the ring, start tearing down the set. It was chaos. It was very odd. It was kind of cool, but at the same time, all I could think of was a main event for an iPPV, a Chikara iPPV no less, didn't have a finish.
Yeah, I have a problem with that.
Yeah, I have a problem with any iPay-per-views, especially indie company. Indie companies are very, very. I think they're different. They're always supposed to be the alternative to mainstream wrestling, where you always will get a finish. There will be a finish to a match. I've always just assumed that with iPay-per-views.
Yeah.
And to not have a finish on an iPay-per-view, especially a big one like this for Chikara that only do 2 a year, very, very disappointing in my opinion.
Yeah, I honestly, to me, that's unacceptable. I don't understand how you could ask people to pay to see a main event that does not have a finish.
Yeah.
In any promotion, but especially in an independent promotion. And on top of that, I mean, Raw, SmackDown, Impact, these are shows that you see finishes like this on a weekly basis. So why should I go out of my way to pay to see that?
Yeah.
That's what really frustrated me. Another thing about this match that was really confusing to me was that before it, Icarus cut this promo about how Marty Jannetty was an inspiration to him and how he was going to be in the crowd. And they showed Marty Jannetty's chair.
Yeah.
And so you assume at some point he's going to come.
Yeah.
He just never showed up.
Yeah, Marty Jannetty no-showed. Like, I was expecting like that'd be like the finish, like where like Marty Jannetty comes out there and supports Icarus, and Icarus makes the big babyface comeback, and it didn't happen. Like I was baffled. Like, well, why'd they even do it then? Like,
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Yeah. So that was really weird, and like I don't know if Marty just didn't show up or what, or they didn't invite him, or who knows. But that seemed really odd. But what you end up giving this match? I know it's very difficult to rate just because of that finish.
Yeah, this was very difficult, but I went with 3 1/4.
I went actually a little bit higher, so we actually disagreed on our rating. I went 3.5. I thought the finish, like I actually got really, really into this match near the finish, and I was super excited for what they're gonna do. And I was really disappointed with the finish, but everything building up to it was nicely done. And hey, when you can make Icarus a babyface, you're doing something right.
Alright, that's fair.
Okay. What you give the show overall?
For me, I think this was probably I'd probably give this about a 6.5. Don't get me wrong, the action was good throughout, but the finish of the main event really, really, like I said, left a sour taste in my mouth. And also, the lighting was bad, which was throughout the whole show. Yeah. So, I don't know, as an iPay-per-view, it's hard to say, yeah, go pay to see this.
Okay. I went a little higher. I went with a 7. I think that like that middle portion of the show and like the last few matches really saved it. Yes, the beginning of the show was kind of lacking, and the end of the show was really disappointing. But I had fun watching it. I can't say I didn't. And if you're a Chikara fan, if you're a diehard Chikara fan, you'll probably enjoy the show too.
That's fair.
If you're a new Chikara fan, this is probably not the best show to check out. Probably would recommend Chikara Stars Rex from last year. That was a really great show.
Right.
But overall, interesting to say the least. But now this is leading up to Chikara canceling all their shows for the remainder of the year, which leaves the future of the company up in the air. The way I've heard it is they're just taking a hiatus and they'll be back next year. hopefully that's true. We love Chikara, and we hope to see more of him in the 2014, I guess.
But that really burns our biscuits because we had planned for what, months and months.
Yeah, basically, I think like the beginning of this year, we basically said I think it was after like right around the time we went to Chicago for 11th anniversary. We said to ourselves, we're going to King of Trios this year.
Yeah, we planned on it. We've been saving money.
Yep.
And
we were super excited, and
of course, they're not going to have it. So that's frustrating.
So
and, hopefully, we'll get some answers.
Hey, Ring of Honor, we're looking for you for maybe going to Philly for Def Force Honor.
But anyway.
All right, that'll wrap it up for us, guys. Thank you for watching. Noah's still the champion for now. Take care. Bye.